What's up, YouTube? I'm Brett from Rants. As always, guys, if y'all enjoy our content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. We're on the road to 1,000. We hope you guys can help us get there. Alright, so there was a recent article on Screen Rant that basically was just detailing why Luke Skywalker's vision on Dagobah of Darth Vader was so why it worked, and why Rey's vision of seeing herself as a Sith did not work. And there was I thought it was a really well put together article, but I wanted to kind of touch on my thoughts on it. To me, I guess I never really connected the two, simply because, as it states in this article, and of course, how everybody perceives it, is Luke Skywalker was taking on his fear. This fear was of Darth Vader. This fear was of him turning to the dark side, where Rey's vision only really hinted at her heritage. Throughout the sequel trilogy, they never acted like they wanted Rey to ever appear like she was, there was a battle in her anywheres. They wanted to make it very clear that she was, this hero through and through, and that everyone should follow her, and that she was a perfect, strong character from the very beginning to the very end. And that's the reason why she deserved the Skywalker name. Not because she went through any trials and tribulations to get it, but because she was just perfect in every way. I mean, I know that sounds like a very trivial way to put it, but that's kind of how they wanted it perceived. The writers of it and the directors of it wanted it to be perceived, was that she is a strong female character that represents empowerment, about how she was really supposed to be the better version of what a Luke Skywalker is. Sadly, she failed completely in that task. She ended up, carrying on Luke Skywalker's story in a lot of different ways, including the Dagobah vision, in her own vision on the Death Star. But she never lived up to the expectations, simply because the visions of what they were trying to enact with the Luke Skywalker vision on Dagobah was just him overcoming the fear, overcoming the dark side, basically overcoming his father in a lot of ways. Where I think the Rey version of it, when she's seeing herself as a Sith, just encapsulate everything that's wrong with the sequel trilogy. There was no, we didn't even get a montage basically of her being, learning these things. She just automatically knew it. She had these new Force powers. She was strong in the Force. She could take down Luke Skywalker. She was the best of the best. She could even take down Darth Sidious. And she never had to work to achieve these powers. So therefore, her vision of seeing herself as a Sith was never really. It doesn't mean anything, I guess you could say, simply because that was never really the path that they wanted her to be teased as. They didn't want her to be on the borderline where she could have gone either to the dark side or to be a Jedi. They wanted her to be this strong, vibrant character that was basically everything that they thought, that really this new version of Lucasfilms thinks that Luke Skywalker is not. If there's one thing that we've learned from the Mandalorian season 2 finale. It's that a lot of people on Lucasfilms really, really are disgusted with Luke Skywalker. He represents everything that they don't want a part of. And it's so weird because basically Luke Skywalker is the reason why they have jobs where they have those jobs. So I mean, you don't have any Lucasfilms if you don't have Mark Hamill's Luke Skywalker. So I mean, I just think it's just kind of odd that they tried to even make these comparisons between the two, in these movies, trying to give her a similar take, but uh, but all it ends up being is just showing how much of a flawed character she is. Not a flawed character in the good way, as in she's a flawed character looking to overcome her adversity. She's just a flawed character from a written perspective, where Luke Skywalker was not. Luke Skywalker, had to face these adversities, had to overcome these adversities, had to overcome his fear. It's one thing I'll never forget. It's one Will Smith movie where he's talking to his son and he's saying, fear is a choice. And on that Dagobah scene, with Luke Skywalker, he come to that conclusion in a similar sense that fear is a choice, and he chose hope, and that was what made him such a redeeming character, amazing character, one of the best characters ever written, simply because his path to the staying on the light side was so fixated on overcoming these adversities, and basically not starting off as a perfect character, starting off as a flawed, weak character, and learning to rise above things. It's a typical hero arc, but that hero arc is done and redone and redone and redone a million times over because it works, because it touches fans' hearts. It's a path that people can be like, once they see it in a film or they read it in a book, they can be like, they can feel like they got to know the character, they've seen the worst of the character, they've seen the best of the character, and they can leave feeling like this character gave them an intelligent and interesting path that unfortunately Rey Skywalker did not give them. Unfortunately, she was just a path that was on this, that basically she was where the writers wanted her to be, not because her story demanded her to be in a certain path. It was the writers demanded that she be in that certain path. And I really feel bad for Daisy Ridley when it comes to that. I think she got I think she's a fairly decent actress, but she got a role that was basically the worst version of feminism. It was this "I am woman, hear me roar" kind of version. It was a version that really doesn't want to put women into any light, even if at the end of the day it breaks them into more complete, interesting characters. It's a shame that she didn't have more competent writers or someone that really knew how to bring out the best in her character, where that you could see the similarities in the Dagobah vision and in her vision as a Sith on the Death Star, where that you could see the comparisons between the two and be like, okay, this gives me a similar feel. But there was never that. Her vision on the Death Star was always going to be a failure, while Luke's was always going to be a success, simply because it's Luke overcoming an adversity, her basically just giving you a hint of who her lineage was. But as always, guys, let me know what y'all think. Let me know if y'all see the parallels, or if you think that a lot of these things match up, with the different versions of seeing themselves in a bad light. Let us know if you think kind of similar to what I do, or different. You got a different take on her. I personally think Rey is a flawed, failed character. Where Luke, I will always be a huge fan of Luke Skywalker. Mark Hamill has done a great job. He cares deeply for Star Wars fans, where a lot of these sequel trilogy actors and actresses, they just didn't want to continue. They didn't have the same feel. They didn't. It didn't mean so much to them. Their characters didn't. And I think that's not. I'm not saying it's telling of them as a person, but it's telling of why they chose to take part in Star Wars, compared to why Mark Hamill did, and why he continues to take part in Star Wars. It's because he loves Star Wars, and unfortunately, that's the one thing that these sequel characters, trilogy characters, have failed miserably in. None of them have a good feel with fans. In fact, I think they almost hate fans in a lot of different ways, because of fans' pushback on a lot of the bad writing and the bad storytelling and the overt extreme feminism that's in the film, and of course, the political takes that go in it as well. But as always, guys, let me know what y'all think. I just wanted to give my take on that. I thought it was a really interesting article. Y'all ought to check it out on Screen Rant. I think the person that wrote it was, had a really cool take on it. And I just want to give my 2 cents on it as well. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Y'all take care.